Okay, welcome to this CHAOSS Value Working Group meeting on March 12th, 2020. We just shared the meeting minutes in the chat. So let's figure out what we're going to do today. Do you have something that you are interested in working on?
Not anything really particular, but I think if along the line, we can also see how we could, now that we have reached a kind of release period, if there are certain areas that, can motivate us to talk on the Linux, the Foundation Summit, the CHAOSScon. I might be interested to look some matrices that I can like to build a talk on different working groups. It's just, if it can fit on the agenda.
Yeah. Can you just write it into the agenda?
Okay.
Then we can talk about it and make that happen.
Okay. 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 Yeah.
Okay. With the upcoming summit, do you mean the Linux Foundation Open Source Summit North America? Because the
it is co-located. Is it not co-located with CHAOSScon?
Yes.
Okay. I really want to focus on the CHAOSScon also because since it is co-located, it's like one event, right? Or we have to specify, or we have to distinctly speak on the Linux Foundation or CHAOSScon.
There are two different events, and we're going to have registration separate.
Oh, okay. In that case, we can put both because things call for. Oh, but the call for presentation for the Linux Foundation is over. That was, I think, 16th of February.
Yep.
Yeah, so we can only talk now about CHAOSScon.
What we can also talk about is all things open. I think their deadline is this week.
Okay. What's that? Come again, please. All things open?
All Things Open is a conference in Portland in October 18 to 20.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
No, not Portland. Raleigh.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about CHAOSScon North America submission. I like it.
Okay.
So what are your ideas here? Because we have done different things in the past. So
yeah, honest, I don't have a particular metrics at hand, but what I was when I was going through the different working group, I was just inspired to see that there are a lot in common that we can try to see from a higher level at this point. We can look how some of the matrices relate to form, can I say, a body, like to represent different perspective of open source projects. I think we are growing towards some sort of maturity right now. That not only one particular set of projects, let's say we can even touch some aspect of ecosystems. Because we have a good set of, a rich set of matrices at this point in time. And unless we try to form out, we build these connections, this link between them, we will not really appreciate what we truly have.
Okay, I'm trying to write down what you're saying.
Okay.
So please keep an eye on the notes and make sure that I capture it correctly. And then I'll formulate my ideas once I capture what you said correctly, because I don't want it to get lost.
Okay.
Okay, so if I understood you correctly, you would like to have a session about the metrics we already have across different working groups and take a step back and look at a higher level how this can be used to maybe understand ecosystems.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting approach.
Okay.
Is this something that you're doing for your research?
Yes. I'm really focused on ecosystems. For example, I'm working with OpenStack, trying to see the different socio-technical dimensions of things. Then I'm also considering like the Linux foundations, the Kubernetes, and the Apache. But I'm really focused more on the OpenStack ecosystem since it is a complex ecosystem.
So you're looking at the OpenStack ecosystem, the Linux Foundation ecosystem, and the Apache ecosystem.
Yes.
Okay. And you said you're looking at different areas. You said you're looking at technical.
The socio-technical aspect.
Any other aspects?
Like the socio-technical, that is
So not technical, socio-technical.
Yeah. Because it's the combination of the social and the technical putting together that I'm trying to see.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the way people relate, communicate, in the kind of activities that they do, how does that influence the, let's say, their releases? That's just the, more technical work, but at this point I want to look at that higher level. So I'm not going so deep into the way people communicate, and the coordination, exactly.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you started out by saying you want to have a different perspectives using different working groups metrics. Have you already dived into that aspect of your research?
Like, you mean the different working groups of CHAOSS?
I'm trying to connect what you're talking about here with having your socio-technical.
Okay, for example, the diversity and inclusion working group, they have a set of like that aspect. I've already looked into it in my research. I'm actually currently working on a paper on that hopefully by the end of let's say anytime soon I'll be submitting, not publishing, be submitting that paper. How that diversity and inclusion, I've also used concepts in the evolutionary working group. So I've actually combined in my studies, I'm really combining these two working group at this point to see especially how genders are, you know, the way genders, like gender diversity. I am also looking at something like what I call like technical diversity.
So, okay, what I'm understanding is you already took a look at the diversity and inclusion metrics.
Yes.
In OpenStack.
Yeah.
And you looked at the evolution working group metrics.
Yeah.
At OpenStack.
Yeah.
And you wanted to see how gender diversity and technical diversity, and I'm missing the last part.
No, like putting, like I said, since this on our perspective at CHAOSS, it's still like in a working group which represent like a kind of looking at project level. But when we put all these things together, we try to see how an ecosystem perspective dynamics can emerge. You see, because the main difference between the project and ecosystem is that ecosystem has a kind of interdependent project.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So how the coordination is done at the ecosystem level is it's complex.
Okay.
Yeah, and the only way, well, not the only way, but one possible way that can facilitate us to understand is when we look into those individual matrices that we have and try to see a higher level. Then we can understand at the ecosystem level how things can be coordinated.
Okay. Sounds like you're getting a call.
No, I'll talk about that later. I just stopped it.
Okay. So then you said you already did this analysis, right?
Yes, but the results, I will still say it's ongoing because until we publish, we cannot really say we have a result.
Okay.
So it's ongoing, as I can see.
So,
But at least for now, I have shared my opinion and my initial findings with the Linux Foundation, and they are really interested in the studies as well. I've had series of meetings with Xuan and Kate, so they are aware of the studies.
Kate and who was the other one?
Xuan, let me look at her name and give it correctly to you. So I'm really talking with them because Kate put me in contact with her. Let me just give you the correct. Yeah, Ishua, S-H-A-U-H. No, S-H-U-A-H. Sorry.
Okay. Yep. I know who Shua is.
Okay.
At least I think I've met Shua. So can you maybe talk a little bit more about how you went about to see the dynamics of gender diversity and technical diversity? What method did you use?
Well, for the method, like the research method, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the method I did a lot of, my research is a mixed method. I'm using both qualitative and quantitative method. For example, I did observational study, which is a qualitative method. I've done interview, which is still qualitative. I'm doing survey, and I'm also doing like mining software repository, which these are empirical method in quantitative analysis. So the thing is, I observe, first of all, I try to observe to find out certain reasons why things are happening the way they are happening, because quantitatively, we can only say the what, but the why is always lacking. And to go deeply to know the why, you really need to have a balanced method of research.
Okay.
Yeah, so that enables me to use methods like the participant observation across OpenStack and interview. Yeah, I talked with ecosystem stakeholders. Then in my observational studies, I also did some observational studies across different regions within OpenStack. It's a globally distributed ecosystem. Now, based on the initial findings, we had now to do like mining the software repositories to see activities. So this kind of method, and that is where the diversity and inclusion working group was very helpful to know things that, you know, related to diversity and inclusion. Then with the evolutionary working group, talking about the technical aspect of it, like what we are defining matrices on different forms of commit, contributions and things like that. I was able now to evaluate how, you know, different genders, you know, their participation and contributions within this OpenStack ecosystem.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I actually use, I'm using this onboarding as well, the study was done to understand onboarding, because that was where the challenge really lies. You know, if you want to observe a phenomenon, it's difficult to observe people that might have prior knowledge. So we did a lot of we did a lot of analysis to capture the right group of people whom we can really judge are new to an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So that any change of variety can be attributed, that is probably caused by the onboarding phenomenon. Then we can now observe, we can now say the phenomenon between gender is truly, or any other observed phenomenon is truly caused by onboarding.
Okay, so onboarding as the independent variable?
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to the original thought, you said you wanted to talk about CFP submission for CHAOSScon North America 2020. Now that you talked about the background of your study, what would that CFP submission look like? And I'm asking, is this something that you just want to do and you just wanted to let us know you're doing this, or did you actually want to create the submission together as a working group submission?
Well, I'm open to create it as a working group, but well, it's something that I've been doing. I can still, it all depends if we, you know, it's always good to have collaborations, because two is better than one. And when people come together, they have different way of thinking, additional knowledge, that really broaden the scope. One person can be limited in one direction, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm always open to do a kind of collaboration with this kind of, if somebody, like if people are interested, we can always work together and do some presentation in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to collaborate with you, at least workshop the idea. So I'm happy to do that, and we can
Okay.
take this time right now to work on it, and
Okay.
maybe start a draft.
Okay.
So tell me about what kind of submission you had in mind.
For the CHAOSS.Con,
Yeah.
I don't think I know much about the different type of submission, except like the one we did in the, was that then San Diego, in the around California, yeah, right?
Yeah. We were in San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
Hmm?
I think that's except there is another kind of presentation that I'm not aware of. I think just something like that.
So are you thinking about a 20-minute presentation then?
Yeah, well, just remind me what was the difference, the different type of presentation we have. Do we have like something different from that?
So we have 5 minutes lightning
Oh,
talk. We have
well, it cannot be lightning.
minute presentation, and we have 60-minute workshops.
Oh, I think it can really go into a workshop. But workshop will be more of hands-on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but things like this, it might be, I don't know how we could put that into a workshop.
Well, let's try and figure it out. I like the idea of making it a workshop tutorial proposal, because I think the method that you have developed would be really useful for others. So if we can find a way to package that and tell others about how to proceed and do this mixed method study, that would be really valuable.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see.
That would be really good. So do you think we could somehow prepare the workshop and go through the analysis together with the participants?
Let the participants at CHAOSS.Con.
Yes.
Yeah, it's possible. Because in as much as they participate in the workshop, they want to take an active part. We could always tell it like we could really make a workshop that they will follow the stages and the steps to understand how those methods and which kind of method answer which kind of question in particular.
Okay, so steps. What are the steps? Let's write this down.
Okay, well, the steps in let's go gradual, like which of the steps, like in the qualitative or the global steps?
Well, the goal is to have a hands-on experience for participants with the mixed method socio-technical ecosystem analysis.
Yeah.
I just made this up. I don't know if this is a real thing.
Okay, let me take a look at it. Because like what I'm saying, we can just put the wordings, then we can always work even like offline to form the, let me see what you've done here. Submissions. Okay, goal is to have a hands-on experience for participants with a mixed method, socio-technical. Okay, analysis. We can say socio-technical analysis of software ecosystem. Yeah. With a mixed method and the socio-technical analysis of software ecosystems.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Please just go in and edit the text. I don't have to be the one to do all the
Okay.
writing.
No,
Just
I'll go through. Even like for the steps, I think that we will need, can we do this later when we try to write down things? Can we do a follow-up, like we keep this documentation up and we just say we'll explain the steps and then we try to, because if I try to give everything up and right now, I'm not sure I may really put all the, we just need to think over it.
Yeah, I just want a high level draft of the structure, not the detailed, go to this repo, type out this command, use this software. I just want the structure for the workshop. Maybe that's a better name for it.
Okay.
We'll have introduction, and then how could this workshop go? Just go ahead and write in here what structure you think would work.
Okay. Okay, I think like under this introduction, we should also introduce to participants the different working groups, how those different working groups can represent different ways of seeing, well, because each working group has a main focus, right? A main objective.
Okay.
And yeah. So when we understand that, we can now explain the difference between a project, like a software project, and a software ecosystem. At least people at this point will understand the dimension on which we are working on.
Okay, and then next?
Yeah, the next now, how to adapt. We make people understand how people adapt in software ecosystems. Like we want to understand how people adapt into a software ecosystem.
How do people adapt in software
ecosystem? Yeah.
And that is different from adapting in a project?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have already defined the difference between software ecosystem and software project. So we'll be using those differences now to show how, things goes from that point onward. Then now we will try to understand like the different methods that have been used in different researches, like the difference between qualitative and quantitative method.
Like that, survey the different methods that have been used in different research studies?
Yes.
Okay, and then?
So when we have this difference, now they will see the importance of doing a mixed method.
Okay, and then?
Yeah, when we see the difference of doing a mixed method at this point, then we can now pick, let's say, by the way, I'll just have to ask one question. Do you know any kind of common phenomenon? It might not be onboarding, it can be something else that we really want to pick as something that can be like, that the community is looking for a solution towards. I'm just asking, do we know anything offhand that most ecosystem or any project can really be looking a solution towards? Can it be contribution? It can be any other challenge. I just want us to use that as a case study for this kind of thing, so that while we are going through, we focus on something.
Have you heard of the GNOME Community Engagement Challenge?
What's that? Come again, I missed the word.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Well, I didn't put it in the chat, I put it in the meeting minutes.
Okay, yeah, I see. So no, I've not heard, but what does this really, maybe if you just give me like some few explanation, I'll understand what it's all about.
I just learned about it last week when I was at Scale.
Okay.
And the idea is to find solutions for how to engage more people in the community. And
Perfect. Then this one really works. It's some kind of onboarding.
Maybe. I think onboarding could be one of the possible solutions.
Yeah. So I like this Genome Community Engagement Challenge. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. We can use something like this.
So in the way that I understand the challenge, they are asking people to come up with ideas, and they still need to release the details of what they're looking for. And then you can submit your idea, and they have a stipend if your idea gets selected to actually work on that idea and implement it.
Okay. Okay. So in a way, okay, let's say this might be too specific for the genome community, but their method, their approach can be generalized. For example, let's say when you observe, or let's say if you interview 10 people in a kind of open-ended interview, at the end of the day, you'll try to regroup those ideas. You put them together and try to do, like, let's say it's kind of transcription, when you try now to form common patterns on what people now said. You put those key terms and try to form meaning at a higher level. So at the end of the day, you come up with an idea that is concrete, well represented, and forms the core, because you'll be having different themes. It's not really like we are just taking from one particular point of view. So when we build this kind of abstraction, well, let me say, like, what the genome is doing, that they select one particular person, one person's idea, but here there is no one person's idea that is winning. You understand what I mean? We take the best idea of every person, we try to form those ideas into, because we structure those ideas and form hierarchy, well, a structure of higher level.
So I'm not quite sure what your ultimate point is.
Okay, let me say, like, as you mentioned, the genome community engagement, the genome community engagement challenge, right?
Yes.
Here, they are actually selecting one idea to be like the winning idea. Is that correct?
I think they want to select multiple ideas.
Okay. If it is multiple, then that really works perfect for us. Because the essence of doing a kind of study within a community will not really be good to select just one idea. That's correct. So if that's it, then I think we can follow that approach.
So what approach are you talking about right now?
The approach in the sense that at this point, we either go with, let's say, and we tell people how the methods that we are using, is it interview, is it observation? We try to do something, because I think interview will be very practical at this point of view. Since we can simulate a kind of 2 or 3 minutes interview. You understand?
Oh, so you're thinking about the workshop and what activity we can have in the workshop, and maybe bring in an interview and have the participants analyze it.
Yes. Or is that too much? I don't know. That's what I'm saying, that it's really, at this level, it's something that we are brainstorming. I don't know how the structure, or were you talking about the structure that we will use to present?
No, I was talking about the workshop as a whole,
Okay,
which
okay.
contains elements of setting the stage, presenting
Okay.
what this workshop is about, and then also having interactive elements like what you were just suggesting with the
Okay.
activity to analyze maybe interview transcripts.
Yeah, yeah. Then that would be interesting, because this thing has it is really meaningful when people really do it, like try it on. They see the advantages and the beauty in it.
So, okay, so I like that. So have an activity of analyzing an interview transcript, maybe bring in a one-page example.
Yeah.
Form high-level understanding. Maybe we need to, yeah, well, at some point we need to figure out what interview transcript to bring and how to frame the assignment, the activity, and what we want to get them, how we're going to discuss it afterwards. But the goal, my understanding is that the goal is for people to become comfortable using interviews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then we can expose them now to well-known techniques like grounded theory that has been used, and it is still being used in literature. With context analysis, we can just pick like 4 or 2 or 3 method: context analysis, grounded theories. Yeah, I think I'll just keep my eyes on other one, but for now we can get this. Then see the difference between. Give me 1 minute, please. I'll be right back.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so we were in the middle of talking about this activity.
Okay, yeah.
So we can offer grounded theory, context analysis approaches of this activity. Depending on how many people we get, maybe we instruct one group to use grounded theory and one group to do context analysis, and then
Exactly.
compare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What else? What else should we include in that workshop?
Okay, now I think when we have this section, we now introduce them now because we are talking about mixed method. This one now we have been talking about qualitative method. We now point them now the kind of information that we end up extracting from this method and how qualitative method, we can now point them now how people have been doing, let's say, mining software repositories to find other forms of information. We can explain how that method, the other one goes. Then we merge both methods, how one complements the other.
So can we insert here an activity of analyzing quantitative data? So something like we bring a one-page summary of data we already collected and ask the participants to I don't know, correlate, or juxtaposition their qualitative findings with the quantitative findings we provide. Something like that?
Yes. One other way, we can keep this method you have just written, we keep it, then, or we could also ask them like to go online in any project and, try to see the contributions, like what we are doing every Tuesday, the first section, first half of before the community call. We want to see, let's say, the highest contributor of this project, something like that. We can formulate something like that, but we keep what we have done. At least it's handy. We keep the first thing that we have written here. Then we can just, also, alternatively, we can also ask them to go, like, we choose any project that is common and ask people to look for the highest contributor in a given period of time, either in a Git repository and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so now we need to come to a close. I don't think we have time for much more.
Yeah, for sure. By the time we are doing this now, the end point now will be each method will have, as I said, will have one message it is passing on. But when we put both methods, the qualitative and quantitative, we see a bigger picture. So the aim now is we want to see a bigger picture that one method alone cannot give the true representation of that knowledge. So people will now appreciate to answer the why and the what.
Okay. So, okay, let's see. How much time do we think we will spend on each one of them? Introduction, how long do you think it'll take to introduce the presenters and the CHAOSS working groups?
I think like 2 to 5 minutes is enough.
I'm losing you, you're cutting out. I think you're muted.
Okay, yeah. Just give me a minute, please.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jacques.
No
Okay,
worries.
so I was saying like we could 2 to 5 minute marks for the introduction, and that would be good.
Okay, so that is for the presenters, right?
Yeah.
And then how much time do we need to explain the CHAOSS working group focuses objectives?
Can we say, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes? 10
Let's
minutes,
say
maybe.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
Okay, and let's say presenters and yeah, let's say 5 minutes here as well. So introductions is 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Are you looking in the minutes where I'm typing?
Yes.
Okay. So explain the difference between a project and an ecosystem. How long do we think we need to explain this?
Explain the difference between projects. Now, I think that one, let's say 5 minutes max.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do people adapt in software ecosystems? How long?
Yeah, this one can take like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then survey of different methods that have been used. How long?
Survey of different methods. Let's just put 10 minutes on this one as well.
Okay. So then we
Because,
do
yeah.
we do an activity, analyze an interview transcript, maybe bring a, okay, how long do you think we need for this activity? With
Since we are bringing the paper, you just be instruction how to do it. I think 5 to 7, maximum 10 minutes can do that. They can do that in 10 minutes as well.
okay, so 10 minutes for actually doing the analysis, maybe 3 minutes to explain it. And do we compare the results afterwards? So we need time there as well.
Okay, to compare, well, to compare the results will just be like something, 2 minutes can work in that comparing the results, because it's something we just, one group was doing this, the other group was doing that. We just highlight and say, okay, this is the result, and we show them the strength and the weakness of each.
Okay, so we need 2 minutes per group, maybe 2 minutes from us to discuss it. So 8 minutes for the comparing, and maybe 13 or 12 minutes for the actual giving the assignment and having them work on it. So we need 20 minutes for this activity. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay, discuss the kinds of insights from the qualitative analysis. That's already included before, right?
Yeah, it's already included.
Okay, explain how to get other data. How long?
We were talking here about quantitative already. this other data, I think it's the quantitative, right?
I fixed it.
Okay, yeah. Maybe 2 minutes here will be good because it's just to point out, okay, look, 2 minutes will be good.
Okay, I'll just round it up to 3.
Okay.
Then discuss how the different data complement each other.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. And then we have another activity.
Analyzing qualitative data. Yeah, this one can take, let's say 10 minutes for this. Because this is where statistics and those other methods will also come in sometimes to, yeah.
I'll just say 15 minutes because we also need to give the instructions and then have the report out in the end.
Okay, yeah.
Over here. And then wrap up where we spent maybe 5 minutes summarizing what we wanted everyone to get out of the meeting.
Yeah.
Report out, that's already included. Okay, so total time. How much do you think we have?
Let's try to sum it up. Okay, we have 25, 35, 55. We have 60, 75, 78. We are close to 90 minutes here.
90.
Yeah. No, 83 is good. I just say close to.
Okay, fine. I'll type into my calculator.
Yeah. No, you were right. You were right. It's 83. I was just saying close to 90.
Okay. Okay, so we need to somehow get rid of 13 minutes. We don't have to do this right now, but I think this is a good submission.
Okay.
What's the next step?
I think when we are done with the report, I think that's the end.
Okay, I'm talking about next step for making this proposal to CHAOSS.
Oh, okay. Now I think we should go back like where we started here to see how we could tailor everything somehow detailed. To make the workshop really look concrete, to take each step, select the project that we can use like a case study, select the like we said, we give a 1 page of qualitative interview. At least we should start working towards that now. The project that we can refer people to for both the qualitative and quantitative analysis so that they could compare. We should have those 1 pages handy. We should start looking how to come up with those.
Okay.
Then also in our working groups, even my day we introduce the working group, then we pick some key metrics that will really be useful for this kind of analysis, and just points. Then we are not going like, let's say, too detailed in it, but we just present that we release these metrics, this and many others. We just highlight those that we'll be using.
Okay. And then I also added here that we need to write the CFP submission itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the expert here on this topic. Can you are you okay with taking the lead and preparing a draft? And then I'm happy to review it and give feedback.
Okay, I will do that. Yeah.
And then you can send me an email when you have a draft or something that you want me to take a look at.
Okay. Okay, I'll do so.
Okay. Anything else? We still have 1 minute.
No, no. Oh, no, I'm fine. At least it was really a fruitful working session.
Yeah. No, thank you for bringing this up. I think it's a really good workshop idea.
Yeah.
And I would love to have this workshop at CHAOSScon.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm happy to help make this a reality. I'm happy to help build the workshop and also administer the workshop.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for suggesting it, being open to collaborating on this.
Okay, you're welcome.
Well, if there's nothing else, I don't have anything else, then we can close the meeting.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Armstrong. You have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.